my song, the media team knows I like coming up to that. It's full on, right? It's like, yeah! Come on, church. You guys are awesome. Can you get the feeling? Is the feeling there? Yeah? We are once again in revival. Okay, come on. Yes! No, give yourself a big hand. Yeah. And it didn't take long. Did it take long? No, it didn't take long. I told you. I told you guys. It won't take long. It just takes you guys making sure that you're here with your happy face, okay, with your happy lives, and owning your community. You see, that's all it takes. And you'll see when we've just fine-tuned. What do you think of this? I don't know whether it's fear or the mind, really. I don't know. We do so much shopping, I'll tell you. We have so much shopping, and I'm like, who's this? This looks cool. Can I buy this? Is it yours? I don't. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Yeah. No. Did you buy this for me? No, she has not bought it. Okay, so, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. She's not bought it for me either. Okay. Anyway. Now, so getting back to you being you. That's what it's about, you being you. Okay? And you being you is very important to me. And that's why we do church. We do church because we want, really what Christ came to give you was yourself. That was what was lost. The Christ in you was buried in the flesh. Christ in you was buried in the accusation under the law. You see, there were accusations on your life. And you were hidden, buried, accused, condemned. Till he came and he showed you what it is like to be a unique son of God. Okay, and the word unique there is the word only begotten. You see, you can't talk of Jesus Christ without talking about the fact that he was the only begotten. And the fact that he was the only begotten doesn't mean that he's exclusively a son of God. It means that is his profile, the only begotten Son of God. So if you believe in Jesus Christ as the unique expression, then that means if he came to give you your life and his life, you become the unique expression yourself. You see? And so a lot of people don't get this, and because they don't get this, they force a community and they force a people to maybe look like the pastor. Okay, I don't know how many of you can pull this off. And you don't have to. Sigh of relief. because I am me, and you allow me to be me, and I thank God for that. I say, WOW is a community that has allowed Kirby de Lanerolle just to be Kirby de Lanerolle. And honestly, kudos to you, my friends. You've allowed me to grow. You've watched me grow. You've seen all the good, the bad, the ugly. I thank God I never, ever try to hide anything from my congregation. People come to my people and they say, but did you know, I know Kirby more than you because I knew him when he was 16, at 17 and 18, and I remember he did all this stuff. And my congregation can really say, don't worry, he speaks about those things openly. He doesn't hide that kind of stuff. And neither do you need to hide that kind of stuff. Because it's not about accusation. It's about looking back at your life in kindness. Think about that. When you look back at your life, you look at every area in your life in kindness. Honestly, if you do that, you'll do a favor for yourself. You'll be free, and you learn to look at other people differently. Now, when I'm talking about WOWLife Church, and why I want today to talk about something so important, it's really the tension between what I'm trying to do and what I've been trying to do from the time God called me, is to bring you out. The diversity is what the angels call glory. See, they're shouting from the heavens, okay? They look at the church, and they say, and look at the world, and they look at the diversity and say, look at the awesome diversity, and they say, this is the fullness of God's glory. Okay, that's what Isaiah says. The angels shout out, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. And the word holy there is set apart, set apart, set apart. Okay, holy means set apart. Up is holy, holy, holy. Down is diverse, diverse, diverse. You see? And therefore, the up is one, Okay, this is how God works, okay? And then when it comes down, it filters down, and finally filters down to individuals with their individual expression, and that is the fullness of God. And what we are supposed to do is open this pathway to, or I won't even say open this pathway, we have no right to open it. It's actually to declare the pathway open. There is a highway, okay? Let's just say there's a stairway to heaven, okay? So that's exactly what you're supposed to declare. That there is a stairway, there's a highway all the way up to the heavens. You see? And that means the one right on top, sitting right on the top, is God, okay? And we've got all the same God. But as you start coming down, he filters through the angels, he filters through the archangels, he filters through the little angels, he filters through the planetary systems, he filters through when you say forefathers, Christians get scared. He filters through the cloud of witnesses. Oh, that's okay, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. He filters through the cloud of witnesses. Then he filters through the elements. And then he comes to us as individuals. Okay? He is in every level, in every dimension, in every one of them. Okay? And finally, he comes to you, who is an individual expression of God. Okay? And that is why I love the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua of Nazareth, with all my heart, and he's Lord to me. But I know that his heart is not that you become like him. He wants you to become like you. You see? And that's a massive shift right there. He wants you to become like you because you have a unique personality that God wants fully expressed. But now here's the problem, and this is what I want to talk about today, okay? As you go on to manifest this unique expression of God, there's a tension. Or forget God, don't say even God, this unique expression of you. There's a tension. And the tension is where every person who's on the verge of greatness is in this tension. And the tension is, I want to explore my fullest potential as me, as a unique expression, but I also want to please the world and my friends, and I want to be universally accepted. I'm going to say it again. The tension is that you finally find out, you come to a place like this, and the pastor doesn't know whether he's wearing Fiona's clothes or his. And he's cool with that. And house music is mixed between the worship. Was that Nightcrawler? Was that Nightcrawler? With worship, you know you come to, right? Okay, good, I'm glad. Okay, now, so once you understood that, the tension is now, because you feel it inside of you, like, oh, wow, this feels like home, this feels like home. This feels good, right? So, but the problem is, you're not supposed to feel good at church. Church, you can't feel good at church. Okay, that's probably for outside with your friends. Not at church, okay? And so when you come to church and you feel good, something's wrong. That's how sad this situation has got. So, but when you realize that what you're feeling good about is that you're finally feeling you in the presence of God, you can come boldly to the throne of grace. That's what it says. It says that you come boldly. It's written in the Bible. Boldly means that you come, the word boldly means a freedom of expression. Come on, man. The word is paesia, the Greek word. It means that when you come to your God, it is a travesty, it's an insult if you can't express yourself as you. Yeah. That's exactly the word paesia. The word paesia, boldness, is from a Greek concept. They understood, they were, after Jesus and Paul were 500 years after Plato and Aristotle and all these people. So they were building on concepts that were already there, please. Just do a bit of research, just Google, you don't have to be a scholar for that. You just have to have a little bit of intelligence. You see, they're building on concepts that are already there. It'll be like, they're syncretic. You see, it'll be stupid for them to try to develop new concepts. They're taking from concepts that were already there and saying, this is who God is. It's so much easier, right? Okay, so how do I put this in properly? Okay, you should have gone in first. Anyway, so they're building on concept that is already very well established, and so they are not afraid to be able to do that. They're not worried about people saying, well, you might be preaching something that is not who God is because you're taking from Aristotelian concepts or concepts that are already established. You're going to do that? You're going to put it in? Yeah, you can put it in? Okay, great. Yeah, that would be great help. So, you see, when you are about to... Is that good? Yeah? Good. When you're about to fulfill your purpose and your expression in who you really are, you'll always find this tension. You can find it at church. If you can't get it done at church before your own God who loves you, you'll never get it out in the world. That's why you come to church. You come to church with this 1 hour, you learn to be you. And you finally feel free. That's the dancing. And you're like, wow, I finally can be me before God because this is what they said was wrong. I can really be happy before God. I can really do this before God. I can enjoy myself before God. And you're finally finding your breakthrough because when you go out into the world, you're supposed to be you. The world is waiting for you. But the problem is when you are trying to be you, try to be you. Just honestly, Kirby de Lanerolle, that's my name. Try to be you with your family. Try, will you try? Try to be you at your workplace. I'm challenging you. Try to be you, really you, not some hypocrite that is a yes man with your friends on a political situation. No, whatever it is. When you keep quiet because the crowd is saying something else, or you have other thoughts, try to be you. Come on. I'm challenging you. Try to be you and see whether they'll invite you again for another party. So what's keeping you being you? That very thing I'm telling you. That very thing that is robbing you of it. That very thing that is robbing you of your greatness. The very thing that is robbing you from going into the next dimension of who you are. People pleasing. People pleasing. The fear of man. But these are the two tensions, man. These are the polarities. You got to choose. The blue pill or the red pill? Yeah. You got to choose because the tension is always that when you are trying to express yourself uniquely, on the other side of it is the fear of man pleasing, and I want to please my friends, my family, and everyone else. And this goes on to next year, and it goes on for next year, and it's 10 years, and you've never been really you. You've never been really you. And do you know what it is like to be free? And do you know what it's like to be free? One moment of it. You come here. Wow gives you that expression. Fascinating. That's one moment of that here. One moment when you come, it's like, wow, what the heck is this? This is God. It is God. But it's God in you. What are you feeling? Oh my God, I can feel the presence. Yes. But let me tell you, you're feeling you. You're feeling I was born for this. I was born for something greater. There's me that is trying to explode out of here. I don't want to be scared anymore. I just want to be me. That's the call, my friends. That is the call to your life by Jesus Christ. Come, I will set you free. And you get the spirit, they say, of boldness. And boldness is contrary to man-pleasing. It's contrary to compromise. And if you can just step into that place, my friend, on the other side is greatness. Take my word for it. There's power, there's authority. There is a place where what you say happens. There's a place where you own your space. Your space and your authority. But you'll have to sacrifice the universal acceptance thing. I died a long time ago. To do this, you got to be dead. But you also got to be resurrected, brand new, as a new you. You understand that? It is waiting to come out. See, why am I saying this? Because I want to get to this place where I'm studying, at the moment. I'll tell you there are layers of this, okay? There are layers of finding your identity in really who you are, because the world will tell you that you are not, my friend. The world will tell you that you are not who you are. The world will try and cut you down to a box, to a cookie-cutter system. They'll point and compare yourself to someone else. And I want to show it to you in 1 Peter. We turn to 1 Peter 2. And I want to show it there. I want you to see this, and I'm going to tell you, really when this scripture came to light for me I was at Prophet Kobus van Rensburg's church, okay? Prophet Kobus van Rensburg's church, and he had liked me. He had 5,000 people who had come for a service. He just thought, at that moment of time, I just maybe said 2 words to him. He didn't know who I was. He knew I was a guy from Sri Lanka, okay? 1 Peter 2, we're going to take it from verse 6, okay? I was a guy from Sri Lanka. He saw the passion in my eyes. There's a sparkle in someone's eye when they're passionate for Jesus Christ and they know what he's got. There's something about it. Like, this is cool. This guy knows it. He's free. He's taken the, what is it, red pill or blue pill? Which one is it? Red pill or blue pill? Come on, Matrix. Blue, yeah. Yeah, okay. Whatever, he's taken one of those pills. Okay. Okay, right. And he knew. And when he knew, 5,000 people, he said, come up. And today, Kirby, and there's this prophet guy who is I tell the story all the time, okay? And this prophet, he's a friend of mine now, but he was a solid prophet. And he was brought up and he said, Prophet so-and-so, he said, you will give half of the service to Kirby. Now, at home, the maximum people I've spoken to is maybe 20 people at home that I had every Tuesday and Sunday coming home. And now he's offered this whole massive audience to me, and he says, Kirby will come up and he'll preach, and he will serve the people. And so there I am, 1 hour goes, when this guy takes these words, okay? I'm going to show you these words, crazy words, okay? From 1 Peter chapter 2, and he preaches like this, okay? But you are, verse 9, but you are a chosen generation. Chapter 2, verse 9. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own, this word special there is actually the word in the King James, his own peculiar people. Say peculiar. Okay. Okay, his own peculiar people. That you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You were once not a people. You see there? But you are now the people of God. You had once not obtained mercy, but now you had obtained mercy. And so this guy was preaching this, and then he'll preach one time that, he'll read it out, and then he'll demonstrate. Then he'll pick people out of the audience, and he will literally say, so-and-so over there, you have a problem with your ankle, you need healing, your name is this, and the person's healed. Then he'll preach it again, okay? And he'll say, you are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. And then he'll go and pick someone else. He'll say, stand up and say, there's a problem with your bladder. God is healing you right now. And he was healing everyone in the room. My mother, I think at that time was, I don't know, it was WhatsApp or whatever it is, she said she was praying that I'll have a chance at least to have one person to heal. Because he was so brilliant at what he was doing. So he did this. And I was there thinking, dude, this guy's got the stuff. What am I going to do after this? He was doing everything that needs to be done. And at that point, the Lord said, watch what he says. But you are a chosen generation. He says he's preaching to you. You are the royal priesthood. Now I'm thinking he's the cool guy. And suddenly, it was a mirror. And interestingly, he sat next to me after he finished meeting, and he said, as he sat down, very coolly, like these prophets do, he sat down and said, so, brother, what are you going to do? He actually did that. He actually did that. I mean, he actually turned around. So, brother, what are you going to do? So I thought, at that time, all I had was gold dust, okay, and weight loss. You remember I used to do weight loss, yeah? So I said, I looked at him and said, I'll do weight loss and gold dust. I mean, he has never heard of weight loss and gold dust. He's like, what? I said, I'm going to do weight loss and gold dust. Right? I mean, it's so silly. Like, weight loss and gold dust, like, come on, you're a kid, right? So at that point of time, he turned to me and he said, look, when you're in a prophet's house, you must honor the gift of a prophet and do as that, because he didn't know what the heck with his weight loss and gold dust is. He'd never seen that before, right? So he gave me advice. And then I thought, oh my God, I might be dishonoring Prophet Kobus if I step out as me. Now, he wasn't in the church. He had gone, okay? But then I thought, hey, if Kobus was Christ, he would want me to be me. And I remember I did weight loss and gold dust, and the whole church went into crazy revival. Everyone clapped, the joy came in, and it was maybe silly for him, okay? Later on, he became a good friend of mine, and I learned to do what he could do, okay? And the fact of the matter is that I remained me without giving in to the control that was coming because of religion. You see, it is so important that those are the steps that I took, the silliness, the foolishness, the foolish things, where you walk with me to be able to do the great things now. You see? But we allowed each other to be us. You checked when you lost weight. Am I correct? Yeah? You checked when the phone got charged. Okay, all the silliness. Okay? And you allowed Kirby de Lanerolle just to be Kirby de Lanerolle. You got it? And from there, we have the miracles, the healings, the signs, the wonders, the raising up, the influence, the power, the finances, and everything came from people allowing them to be themselves. Now, why am I saying this? Because there's something called imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. You see, I'll tell you imposter syndrome. Simply, you want to get into King's College or even to UCL at the moment. I'm doing positive psychology there. You see, UPenn, yeah, in UPenn. So even to get into that, actually, I didn't know I can. Just give you imposter syndrome. You see, because when Fiona was doing a theology at Fuller, I always wanted to study. I like to study. And I told Fiona, but Fiona, I don't know whether they will take my degree that I got from the Indian National Apostolic Diocese. I don't know whether this is such a big university. I don't know whether they'll even accept that. And so I spoke to Nishan. And Nishan had to tell me, Kirby, yes, they'll take your degree. Not only will they take your degree, just give them a CV about yourself and what you've done in your life. And I promise you, you will get in. And that's why I thank Nishan a lot, because at that point in time, I said, Nishan, are you sure? He said, 100%, just apply. When I got in on an unconditional offer, that blew me away. Because for me, it was like, of course, I got recommended, highly recommended, as top 1% in the world by a fellow. But all those recommendations came and I got in. It blew me away that I got in. Because somehow, somewhere, I thought that I can't make it. Come on, I'm just trying to show you. Okay? When I got into UPenn, that fear had broken. I just sent it myself. And there was no interview. I just got in. But there'll be so many out there who'll tell you that you can't make it. You see, because they'll try to tell you, no, you are actually not who you are. You got here by a fluke. Bishop Paul Timaran came in on my 40th birthday and ordained me into the bishopric as a bishop. When he ordained me for 300 churches, the first year, I didn't take the name bishop. I didn't. When I meet the prime minister, I meet ministers, but when they say, so who are you of the ADC? I say, I'm the chief overseer of the ADC. Okay? And then my pastor says, no, but Bishop, why don't you say you're Bishop? I said, no, don't worry. You'll realize later on. Okay? And I'll hide behind the fact that I don't believe in who I am. Come on. You see? But I have 600 churches, 250,000 people. Bigger than any other bishop, except for the big one in the country. 600 churches, 250,000 people. We really have it. But I don't want to take the word. I'm trying to show you something, what imposter syndrome looks like. The bishop who ordained me has 20,000 churches. 20,000 churches. Bishop Paul Timaran. He came down, flew down, laid hands on me, but still, at that point, I couldn't receive what God had given me. Now, let me tell you something. Because of our insecurities, can I have that scripture up there again? Can you see it again? I want you to see it again. What does it say here? He says, but you are a chosen generation. Come on, just say it. I am a chosen generation. You are a royal priesthood. You are a holy nation. Who is he talking about? You. You see? And he's talking about you being this powerhouse, a holy people, a royal priesthood. Why? That you can proclaim God's goodness. You were not that people, but now you are that people. You see, this idea is being constantly taken and robbed, and that's your struggle. Because when I'll tell you, when at one point I went with my pastors, now I'm meeting the president, okay? And I'm invited by the president. And I go into the assembly, and there are all the Buddhist priests and all the pastors all sitting, okay? And there's a chair left for me. And I'm looking at the chair, and my pastors, I have 50 pastors, and I'm sponsoring the bags to be given. And all these other guys are there. I didn't want to take the seat till my pastor said, Bishop, I said, no, don't worry, I'll stand at the back. You see? And then I realized, hey, what the heck is going on here? Because I told him, if I go and sit there right now, then when the president comes into the room, the Buddhist priests don't stand up. Watch the scene. They don't stand up. President walks in, Buddhist priest doesn't stand up. Okay? That's okay with them. But I'm used to standing up when president walks into the room. So my mind is, if I'm sitting there, do I need to do what they are doing? Come on, I'm going to show you something that is so valuable. So my mind is processing. If I sit in front there, okay, president walks into the room, Buddhist priests don't stand up, and so naturally, the pastors also won't stand up. But what would Jesus do? Jesus will wash the feet of the least of us. In fact, he won't stand up. Jesus will go down on his knees. And then I had a chat with my pastors. I said, if I sit there, I can't stand up when the president comes. And I said, pastors, but if I sit there, I want all of us to stand up. Okay? And so I went and sat there. And president walked in the room. Maithripala Sirisena at the time. When he walked in the room, in all the front rows, I was the only guy standing up, and all my pastors standing up. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. We don't need to do what the others are doing. No one has been what I am today. I'm not saying I'm special, but I have a unique expression. No one has been a bishop of the free churches. I don't know how to do it. And that's okay. But I don't need to do it that way. Come on. No one has been you. But you don't have to do it that way. You might be a CEO, you might be a manager, you might be a pastor, you might be, your industry. God is calling you to be you, man. And what you do is what is going to be celebrated. You just get what I'm trying to say. This is so important because this is the story of the Bible. Can I have it up there again? I'm going to read that again one more time. Okay. So, people are ashamed to own themselves. So, sweethearts, if you're ashamed to own yourself, how will you have the boldness to own me? Think about that. Think about that for a moment. You see, because I'm a bit crazy. I'm a bit crazy. I will do things that are completely radical because I was born for that. No one has been me. I was born to become a reformer. I do things that cause reform. I do things, I'm in the front, and most of the time alone. There's no one is doing what I'm doing. What does that feel like? It feels like I'm going to step out and believe that others will follow. Not because I'm right, not because I'm good. I might even be wrong. But if I'm wrong, I'll come here and tell you, that was a big mistake. Because what matters is not whether I'm right or wrong. What matters is that we have the courage to be us, whether it's right or wrong, and that courage will cause you to end up being great. Because it's a life lived out. Someone accused me recently, actually a guy who preaches, the pastor, he accused me recently. He said, Kirby, the problem with you is that you live your life before your church. I was like, is that an accusation? Pastor told me, he said, the problem is that you're living your life like before your congregation. It's very dangerous. I'm like, what the heck do you do? What do you do? No, they don't. They don't live their life before their church. It's a choreographed event. No one sees when they're hurt. No one sees when they're angry. He doesn't say one bad word, except when he's at home. You hear the bad words off the pulpit. I'm not still said the bad words yet. Fiona has. to make one. But do you understand that? What about an authentic life? What about an authentic life? You see, when you try to do something new, the thing about leadership is this, that leaders are creative. That's the key about leadership. The others are not leaders. People who are not creative, who are not doing something new, that's not leadership. Come on, guys. Do you have a company? Do you have a product? Are you innovating? What does leadership look like? Leadership looks tremendously creative. If there is no creativity, that's not leadership. That's following some protocol, some philosophy, some doctrine. But in leadership, you'll find people that are absolutely creative. And when they're creative, that creativity is always scandalized. You are a creator. You're an innate, natural creator. Why you need to be a success is because that force needs to come out, man. The Elohim, the creator in you needs to come out. And if you become a creator in your industry, first, there will always be problems. They will challenge it because, remember the two. One is the full expression of yourself, but you can't have both. Or let's please the system. What would you rather me be? Come on. What would you rather me be? A creator and a leader? Or someone who bows down to a system? How do we innovate? How do we become new? How do we reform the church? If we can't have a creative idea without trying to please all the rest of them. Think about that. And I'm talking about me because it's about you. Because if I am me, then you can be you, man. If I am pleasing the rest, then I will get you to please the rest. Then when people come here and give a testimony, then I'll get them to please the rest. And then my worship team won't be wearing what they're wearing because they'll have to please the rest. You see? And then you won't get real worship here because you'll get a bunch of hypocrites who are performing and not really worshiping God because they're not really free. It's all a waste of time. Why do it? You see, if you go back, I was trying to read the scripture, Okay, forget it. Okay, let's go into, what is it? Yeah, let's go into, I think it's 2 Samuel 22. I think it's 2 Samuel 22. I'm going to show you, forget 2 Samuel 22, let's go into Judges 6. Judges 6. Let's go into Judges 6. You might get there. Judges 6. I want you to see this guy, and his name was Gideon. Okay. Judges 6. His name was Gideon. You remember that guy? Yes. Remember that he was called for something great? And he had the same thing, imposter syndrome. Judges 6. You see? An angel comes to him and he literally tells him, look, mighty man of valor, you are the most powerful man on the earth. And he's like, what? You're talking to me? He's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. And God constantly chooses people like Paul, people like David, constantly chooses people like you to change the system. Honestly, look at who's in this house. Look at who's in this church. Because as you see people in this church, you will see that they are your reformers. You were born to change things. You are not happy with the status quo. And that's not rebellion. That's inspiration. And that's why you're here. That's why God has brought you here, because it's only you in your family who could do it. And I'm not trying to patronize you or just make you feel good. I'm talking to myself. Because I know what it takes. I know that it takes someone worth his salt, someone who can go beyond the natural, go beyond the accusations. And so Gideon was called into something great. And here it is. It's a very cool story. And so Gideon said to him, so verse 12, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Is it there? Is it there? Yeah. Gideon said to him, oh my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his miracles? Now this guy is in real trouble, okay, as you can see. Which our fathers told us about, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. Then the Lord turned to him and said, go in this might of yours. See, God doesn't see it. He's having doubt. He's having a lack of faith. He says, oh, don't worry about that. You go in the might of yours. Did you see that? Go in the might of yours, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites, for I have sent you. Then he went on to say, so he said to him, oh my Lord, how can I save Israel? Indeed, my clan is the weakest. Is it there? In Manasseh. I am the least in my father's house. He says, are you sure? David's story, right? Are you sure I'm the one who's called as the priest? Are you sure I'm the one who's called to change a nation? Are you sure I'm the one who called? What about my theology? And what about my issues? I'm still, smoke a bit, and I still, not me, but there are others who do that. Okay, I'm still having a drink. Maybe, are you sure it's me? And God is saying, yeah, hey, mighty man, come on, I'm talking to you. He doesn't see it. You see, but we think that we are hypocrites to take that place. See, we think that when you got promoted or you got that business deal or whatever it is, you think that it was a fluke. Someone was talking about imposter syndrome and said one of the most searched topics when they got the doctorate was one of the most searched topics after getting a doctorate in the internet. 159 million searchers was, can my doctorate be taken back? After getting a doctorate, 159 million people who get doctorates search this. Can my doctorate be taken back? Come on. When I got in King's College, same thing. Did they make a mistake? Did they see someone else's CV? UPenn, of course, that's gone. Like, UPenn, okay, I'm best in business. In. You see? But the problem is that we don't believe in ourselves. You see, and if we don't believe in ourselves, we can't believe in someone else. I remember a time, guys, when there was a gentleman who came here, and he was a professor. How many remember there was a professor here? And he did the science of God. And he was a neuroscientist, remember? Do you remember he was a neuroscientist? If you connect the dots, dude, I'll tell you, you win. Remember he was a neuroscientist, okay? What am I studying? Neuroscience, okay? I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you how you get where we get, okay? And so he was a neuroscientist, and he came in, and he was okay. He was an okay guy. I like him. I still like him. A lot of people didn't. And he was working, and then I got a few phone calls of people who really cared. Really, people loved me and cared. And they said things like, you better look out for his credentials and stuff like that, which I believe we should. Credentials have to be right. and all kinds of different things. And at that point, when I was told that, at that point, I ministered to a couple of the people who explained it to me. I said, you know what? When I sit with him, I love what he talks about. I get inspired by what he says. I don't have the ability to go back and look at all the credentials and apostolis and all these kinds of things. But you know what? It's sensible to me. It's like there's a pull on me, my heart. You see? And I said this. I said, and the thing is, I don't know any other neuroscientist. I don't know any other neuroscientist. No other neuroscientist came to me, to my church, and say, I want to work with you. Come on, I'm trying to show you something. Okay? And so I said this. I said, because I believe I'm so special, okay, I believe that God brings me the best. And so when someone said, but I can introduce you to some other neuroscientist, someone said something like that, I said, I'm not interested in other neuroscientists. But why? It doesn't relate with me. I can be biased. It's okay. I like this guy. What about restaurants? What about workouts? What about businesses? What about salons? What about all kinds of things, schools? I'm trying to show you. Someone can say, hey, why don't we go to this restaurant? And I'll say, I don't know. I'll go to this one. But why? Because I relate. I know that restaurant. I have a personal relationship. That might be good, but I'm going to choose this one. Why? Because I truly believe I have the best artists, the best singers, the best songwriters. I truly believe the best drummers, the best pilots. Yes. I truly believe the best bankers, the best bankers. Okay. World Bank is really the best. Yeah. I truly believe the best entrepreneurs. I truly believe the best engineers and people who work, the best architects, the best fashion designers, the best accountants. I have the best. I have the best.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. The best architects. Yeah. I have the best. But why do I believe I have the best? Because I believe in myself. It's as simple as that. So when someone says, hey, we got an architect, I said, we don't need any other architects, man. I have the best architects in my whole, I have the best architects in the country. If someone says, I need something done, I said, my community has the best of that. I'm not lying. Please understand. Look at the faces, you'll understand. You see, because for me, I know who I am. And when I know who I am, I take ownership of what God has given me. Okay, maybe you didn't go deep. I'll show you another one. Bishop Paul T. Maran comes. 20,000 churches. When he comes in, Bishop Paul T. Maran is very, I don't know, how many of you have seen Bishop Paul T. Maran? Okay. When Bishop Paul T. Maran comes, he comes in an overdressed coat. Okay? His cross is gone sideways. Okay? What he wears is, his slash is like probably made in India. Okay? He wears a pair of slippers. He's not cut his nails. Okay? Okay? He wears sunglasses like from Tamil Nadu. Okay? He 20,000 churches. I want you to understand something. You see, when he comes, he ordains me. He might not look like one of your bishops that you've seen before that has 200 churches. Hello. This has 5 million people. But we are looking at some fellow who's better dressed, who's maybe shaved, doesn't wear sunglasses. Okay? He had 200 churches. And he says, who is this guy? He's Bishop Paul T. Maran to you, sir. He has 20,000 churches. I own him as mine. You see what I'm trying to show you something about imposter syndrome. Because if you are going to listen to others saying what they think he is, with their 200 churches, and you are scared of what the public thinks, you can never be you. You can never be you, man. You're conforming to really some guy who, can't even match it because of the fear of man. And your expression is squashed because you can't own your community. Come on, man. You can't own your community. You're ashamed to own your community. And if I'm ashamed to own him, then what about me? How do I stand? Come on. It's impossible. You see? So God has called us into greatness. But understanding greatness will come from you understanding you and who God has given you. Who is your community? You see, today, honestly, the people I speak to, without blowing their trumpet or my trumpet, $1-2 billion. That's normal. Dollars, huh? The richest guy in Sri Lanka doesn't have $1 billion. So just understand. So how did we get there? How did we get to 500 churches? How did we get to all these things? We owned what we had when it was small. We owned who we had when they were small. Come on. And we saw what God was telling Gideon, mighty man of valor. And then Philip said, no, but I'm not so. Then Tammy said, no, but I'm not so. Then Ajay said, I'm not so. Sanjay said, I'm not so. And we said, I didn't hear you. I think that you are the best in the business. You see? And by saying that, they became who they are. And if you decide now to transfer that same energy and the same spirit, and if you get out of being an imposter yourself, you can rule the world. You can rule the world. You can make a difference. You can be a history maker. Because you know that when God brings you, whoever he brings you, he brings them to you because you are that great person. And so greatness always attracts greatness. Did you just understand that, guys? Okay? And it is so important when someone tells you something, like someone tells me, Kirby, but that's not the way we do it. Like someone told me this, we were sending a video and everyone's partying and all that. Like, this is not Christianity. Like, that's not your Christianity, dude. I'm not even called into your Christianity. I'm called into our Christianity. And I'm not going to do your Christianity. I'm not going to try to please you and be your Christianity either. When God has called us to a unique thing, a unique expression, and we will own it, we will proclaim it, and we will grow it. In Jesus' name. And that's the truth of it. Yes, we are unique as persons. We are unique as communities. We are unique expression in miracles, in signs, in wonders, in finances, with every single thing. Yes, we are unique and we are different and we stand by it because that's who we are. You got it? Okay, now Dream Team, come up. Let's do this. Come on.